Hey guys, and welcome to another one.
I was like adjusting my shirt. Okay, we're jumping into it, I guess.
Another nap time podcast. Just kidding. Welcome to the Digital Income Family Podcast, where we rant about things and talk about business and life.
This is Hayley, and I'm Doug.
Doug, what are you doing?
Just in case people don't know who we are.
They know. I'm not necessarily growing on this right now. So, anyways, our kids are doing their nap time routine, so we're over here filming for you guys.
Quiet time routine. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so today we're actually pre-recording this because we are in Boise. Okay, if you didn't watch our last episode, I have to not say Boise. If you didn't watch our last episode, we'll link it down below. But basically, we are trying to see if we want to live there, just trying to explore new places. And we talked all about moving out of California in the last one. So anyways, yeah, we're pre-recording it. We'll let you know next week if we like it or like what's up with that. But before we get into it, we have an exciting announcement. I wanted to give away a gift card for one lucky person. I know. Doug's like, what are you talking about? Just kidding. And this is a lottery. But no, okay. So if you guys wanted to...
car. Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
No, if you guys wanted to leave a review... Okay, that's what I'm doing. Leave a review on what, iTunes? Like which...
Yes, Apple Podcasts, because that's the only place you can actually leave reviews.
Apple
really
Podcasts.
iTunes,
we would be,
same thing,
yeah, so appreciative. And we're going to pick one person and I'll give like, I don't know, $30 to you, maybe like PayPal or just
maybe
like
we'll
cash.
bump it up. Maybe we'll do some crazy stuff. You never know.
No, $30.
Oh, not? Oh, okay.
It's not crazy. So like you get 1,000. Okay. Yeah. But anyways, for anyone that wants to be super nice and, try and help us boost our podcast in the rankings so we can help more people and reach more people, you can leave just like your review. You can rate it whatever you want, like whatever. Yep. And like, we'll just pick one person. Doug will randomly pick a person.
Yep. And it will be people that are like new that are in there because there already are some reviews that are
which
there.
we're so thankful for. But I've never tried to, just be frank, not that this podcast episode is about this, but I've personally never tried to grow this podcast. Nope. We literally just put it out there because I wanted to test out podcasting because it's fun and I already have an audience for it, like through my mom brand. So, but this time I'm trying to like put the best effort forward.
Yeah, I think we should do it. Like I really enjoy buying all the tech for this kind of stuff. And so we need to actually do something with it.
But yeah, anyways, so today's episode is about, I have my notes, what makes a successful person. Now this sounds blah. You're like, oh
my God.
But what?
This is specifically and this was actually, part of this was my idea, which is like, yay. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
so, what we want to talk about, what I really like to see is like, because I've done a lot of onboarding our students and we work with our students very closely. And we know basically in this niche,
or just in general.
It is in general.
Because they all have like their own success prior.
They have had their own success. I mean, some of them had like their own success and some of them have started from nothing.
Yeah.
But really we want to talk about the traits and the patterns and the things that we see of successful people.
Yeah, just in general.
Okay. And it will be, just in general. A lot of this does though come from like our programs and things that we teach and our personal experiences that we've had with students or people that aren't our students, people that were our mentors, stuff like that.
Yeah. And so I find it like one of the most interesting things that I do for a living is studying success patterns and habits and things that make successful people tick or whatever.
It's like a weird thing that she has.
I'm
she
like obsessed
has
with it.
To.
Well, because it's just like why can this person who came from nothing, who is legit, like some people down in the dumps, like borderline depressed or depressed literally, how can that person with no money, like whatever, that people we've worked with or people that we've like known in the industry, how can they go from like nothing to massive success in like 6 weeks when other people that have everything going for them can't do it because they're most of the time, all the time, I think, in my opinion, it's their mind stopping them. So I like to quiz people, like whenever we get people that have success in our programs or even just like my own friends that are influencers, I'm like, so what's your work ethic? Okay. Like what are your habits? Like how long do you work every single day? Like how many hours does it take for you to make this kind of money? And so there's lots of patterns that we found. It's like so interesting. So we're going to talk about some of them and you guys can maybe sit there and think like, do I have what it takes? Like, I don't know. Yeah. And if you don't, then maybe.
Yeah. You don't need all of these.
No.
Okay. That's not what it is. It's just
you can become like, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, you can like add on the things and you can stack your skills and you can do things like that and change your beliefs. But I don't want this to become a podcast where somebody's like, oh, I don't have that. I can't be successful now. That's not the case. That's not how this works. Okay. It's just, they are traits that we see in common themes.
And honestly, like the more mentors that we pay for, or the more people that are more successful at us that we work with, I want to adopt their traits. And some of them are negative and I take take and leave whatever you will. But if I see that this person thinks a certain way, I'm like, well, I remember that. And I take note for the next time something comes across that's a problem that I can deal with. So I like to learn from people, obviously. So what makes a successful person I guess we're going to be talking about business, I think, but this can apply to life.
It can. A lot of it can. And I guess maybe we'll note it as we go. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. So the first one that Doug wrote down actually is absolute. Okay. This is a character trait. I'm not a character trait.
It's not even a character trait. It's just like something that's there.
It's just there. It's apparent. And that is they're absolutely desperate.
Yes. And not desperate, like desperate and like, oh, I just want money, like desperate kind of thing, or like desperate for fame or something, but it is just desperation to change. Okay, something needs to be changed.
Absolutely disgusted with themselves and their situation, and this has always been me and Doug. And so I think how do you get like that? Because a lot of people, I think that it takes them forever to have success. They burn out, they start things, they quit, they fail. They have a lot of like imposter syndrome, a lot of doubts, and they just run up against their own mental hurdles, which makes it take forever. And they have all excuses and they can't find the time. It's really because they live a comfortable life. And so I've read this in so many books. Do you want to explain?
I mean, what it really is that they think they're in the best life that they have and they're comfortable with it.
Well, they don't think they're in the best life. It's just that it's the norm for everyone around them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They think that it's the best that's possible. Okay. And so they don't have an outsider's perspective. It just hit me like this. Like they can't look back in at their own world and think this sucks. But when it happens, dude. So some people get exposed to it and they're like, are you kidding me?
So this is seriously? This is what's happened to us over and over. So I think that the reason why we've had such fast success, I mean, there's so many reasons, but number one is we have been. Now, this is going to make us sound ungrateful and all the above. And a lot of people, there's just different mindsets. But when you are not disgusted with your current situation and, what you're able to produce in your life, it's going to sound like you're ungrateful. And I guess to an extent you sort of are. Like, I'm going to try and be honest. It's not that
you're ungrateful. You can be grateful, but not satisfied. Like there's a huge difference. I know,
but it's hard because you're not content.
Yes.
And successful people, entrepreneurs that are good, they're never content.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
You got to be so careful. I battle with this. Like contentment is my biggest battle. Doug knows.
Yeah, it is.
How are you going to grow if you are content?
Yeah, it's just we've learned to be able to look at our life from an outsider's perspective by reflecting on other people's success and other people's situations.
Well, I think also it's because where we live.
Well, that too. Yeah. Like we see other people.
We're surrounded by absolute abundance.
Yeah.
And so if you are from, I don't know, I'm not going to pick a state or something, but if you're from a place in America or around the world that everyone around you, remember, you make up the 5 people closest to you. And then when we heard that, we're like, oh crap, like love our friends and family, but they believe in work until you're 70, and then doing things. We didn't want that. So we started inundating or whatever it's called, replacing all of those experiences with people in our life with people that had more, not because we were greedy or wanted wealth or just like to spend on a Tesla or a yacht or whatever. Those things are nice and no shade, like but it's because we didn't want to have to really trade our time for money and not be with our family.
But the side effect of that was like, holy crap, like we could have so much more. And then there comes the lack of contentment and all this other stuff. But here's the thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. I'm pretty sure it was Bruce Lee, and I'm pretty sure I'm butchering this quote, but the quote is
Doug's got a quote.
It's like be happy but never content. Okay, so you should be happy with your situation and be happy that you're alive and be happy that you have all this stuff. But never content like with your progress, like right? Like you should always be bettering yourself and always trying to do that. And that's like the situation that we're in. But when people, okay, let's wrap it back to our point of successful person. Okay, so here's the thing. When people realize that and they realize they can have it better, they're desperate for that change. Okay, and the biggest things that I see that people need in desperation of their change, a lot of times is it's like, I need to quit my job. It's a big thing, like their job sucks and they don't like it anymore. Or they need to be with their kids, they have a child, and then all of a sudden their life changes and they just want to be with that child the whole time. That's another thing that's there. Their spouse, a lot of times it's like their spouse works like 80, 90-hour weeks and they want that change for their spouse.
Something like really
painful. Extremely painful. So they are desperate to make that happen. And what it is the desperation it forces them or forces us to go outside of our comfort zone and to be able to do things we never thought we would do before to reach that change, to make that difference. And that, in my opinion, I don't even know what's all on the rest of this list, but I always tell people that come in and the people that are successful in our program, the number one trait that people have is they're desperate. They're desperate for change. And those people, in my opinion, are the most successful.
I just think that like also Okay, so there's another quote from Tony Robbins. I say it and everything, but it's like, people are more apt to run away from pain than they are towards pleasure. And that's 100% the case. Like every single time I've known a mentor, anybody in my own life or students, whatever. My own sister, she's had really great success through doing what we do, but she teaches real estate. No, she teaches regular people to get their first rental property. Single family home is her expertise. And she is like desperate because she obviously came from an entrepreneurial family, like my family, we're sisters. And so she wanted more for herself. But like I said, most people in America, particularly, they live very comfortable lives. And yeah, you maybe make like 60 grand a year, 50, 40 grand a year, which is not a lot, depending on where you live in most places nowadays with inflation. But it's still comfortable, like compared to like if you live somewhere else in the world.
It's comfortable if you don't know what other people are doing.
Yeah.
Too.
And so we have always known, like my dad's always told me, like you need to make a lot of money. That's like your duty because you have to help people. Like you can't, now I'm not bashing anyone, but this is just my mentality with Doug and my family. It's like, you can't help anybody if you have no money. And so it's always just been like, placed upon my conscience, like have to make a lot of money. Absolutely. It's not about like buying cool things. It's like gotta help my parents, gotta help Doug's, gotta help our family, gotta help
the world. Like people who have money help the world.
Yeah,
like that's just
and
how
so that's just how our mentality is. It's like it's just it's not even an option to not be successful. You have to do it. It is your duty. So that's just what I believe. But anyways, so people that are desperate,
desperate for change.
Yes. So a good example of this is one of our newest students. I swear she started like last month. I'm
pretty sure she's like 5 weeks in.
Yeah,
5.5.
Her name is Dylan Jarrus. I can't ever say her last name, but she's on Instagram. Anyways, she started with 0 followers. Okay, she's never posted a day in her. Well, she's posted on social media for her like her brand,
business
her Etsy
and her
business,
brand, but it's still not a big. It's not a big account.
I don't think it's like her face. Yeah.
No, and there's no face on it or anything.
Yeah,
it's
so
just product.
She like as far as a personal brand, like nothing. And she is a full-time Etsy seller, and she was working so much that she has had surgery on her legs. So she was standing up, like working. She's a hustler, and if you follow her, I mean, she still doesn't have a lot of followers, but she posts a ton on social media, and she's grown to 900 followers in like a month, if that, which isn't a lot. And a lot of people think like, if a lot of people think, well, I need a huge audience, whatever. She's made like, I don't know if I should say how much she's made, but
she's made her investment back 3 times at least.
Yes, it's like an insane amount of money. So thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And that's because she is obviously running away from literal pain. Like she doesn't want to have to trade her time for money as far as like her Etsy business. So it's just so like amazing hearing her and like her work ethic. And she has 2 little kids at home, and she wanted it so bad. Like other people just don't want it that bad, And so she has high standards for herself. So it's possible, like if you are really like, wanting to make a huge change in your life, like if you want it, if you actually want it, it is there for you. Like you can do it. Another thing that makes people successful or makes people, I guess, unsuccessful. I can hear our kids running around.
I know, me too.
But they're unaware of a better life. I wrote this down because of who they surround themselves with. Yeah. So I sort of touched on this, but do you want to explain?
Yeah.
What about your upbringing?
It's like, okay. I mean, we could talk a little bit about that. Yeah. Really, like, again, if you don't have like an outsider's perspective to be able to, look in on your life, you'll never know about that change. You'll never know about that difference that can be made.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest ways you make that happen is you surround yourself with people that are in the situation that you want to be in.
Yeah.
Or in the life that you want to be in, or like living the life that you want, and not the life you don't want.
Yeah.
Or like your current life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's 4-hour work week, right? That brings that up. Is that where that concept comes from?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
It was a long
actually.
time ago.
It's like a thing. It's just like a common thing that.
That's why people do
now.
Vision boards. They go and like look at model homes, and they go and like test drive like a fancy car,
but
so they can.
The thing
experience
is, the
more.
thing is that you're supposed to surround yourself. Like the 5 people that are closest to you are the people that have like the biggest impact on who you are and your character and your life.
And I brought up like Doug's upbringing in particular because he came from it's not like a low class
no, it's like middle class. It's very middle class.
Like a really small town.
Small town. The highest building. Left. No, the highest building in the town's like 3 stories.
Yeah.
Or it was for a while.
It's like a farming
yeah,
town.
and so, when you're surrounded with that. People all go to the same junior college, and then they all live at home, and they all hang out in the same places they did in high school, and then you all do the same thing, and then you just kind of like retire, and then you die. Mm-hmm. And that's because they all just surround themselves, and it's accepted.
And so they don't feel bad about themselves. Like there's something wrong.
No,
with this.
There isn't. But it's just like you're just surrounding yourself with the same people that do the same thing all the time. And so you'll never change, or you'll never see the change.
Actually, it is. I wasn't really going here, but you moved right out.
I got out.
Yeah.
And no offense to all my homies that are still there.
Yeah.
But, like, it's legit.
His homies even say, man, we're stuck here. Yeah.
Yeah, all my friends. Yeah, they're like, you got out.
Yeah. It's hard. But like, even his parents were like, you should go to the junior college. You're like, no.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not.
They were like, you could save money and stay here, and then you can play. Like, they even tried to bribe me. They were like, look, we know, like, there's cheaper. A baseball coach. He says he wants you to play there. I'm like, I'm not staying.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. No.
Because, you wanted to experience more for your life. And that's like classic with a bunch of people that go to college. Not that college is the answer nowadays, like, heck no. But, I mean.
But moving and changing your environment.
Yeah.
Like, is a huge thing. And, like, you have to change who you are. I don't even remember what the point is. Like, what was the point again? That we were
you have to surround yourself with people that have a higher standard for their own lives.
Yes. So people who are successful that do this, they surround themselves with people that are better than they are.
Yeah.
That are living a lot better life.
Because of the internet. You don't have to move.
And so I wanted to do a whole thing on this, total side tangent, but I want to do a whole thing on this where it's like, it's no longer just the 5 people that you surround yourself with, but it's literally the people that you follow on social media.
That's like more important. Like,
but it is.
Because you spend more time looking at other people than you do with your own friend, at least.
So back in the day, 2006 or whatever, 2010, like it would be the people you were literally with.
Yeah.
Right. But nowadays, it's who do you follow? Because that... Literally, like, for the longest time, I was so into keyboards, and I still am. I really still do love them. But computer keyboards, I followed all these keyboard accounts. It just made me think about keyboards all the time.
I mean, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But then you follow people who are doing the same thing, like just your friends from high school and college or whatever, and it's going to be just the same old stuff. If you follow people who are doing, it's just like weird meme accounts or funny accounts or whatever, that's all you're going to see. Yeah. But the moment you start following people that have a better life than you do, or start following people
this is the thing. Like, I totally agree. But most people follow influencers. And so you might think, well, I already follow people that are rich. Okay, they're flaunting their Gucci bags. That's not what we're saying. No. So before, when I was just a YouTuber, nothing wrong with that. It's just, remember, we didn't want to do it, and we started to go down this path. But when I was doing that, I just followed mommy YouTubers. A lot of them are my friends. Like, nothing wrong with that. People I collabed with, people in my niche in the industry. I muted them. I think I mentioned this in actually I did it in my training, my free training I have. But anyways, I muted them. Oh, Douglas. Okay. Can't stop, won't stop. It's such a man thing. Like, men always. So, I muted them in a nice way. Like, nothing's wrong. It's just, I can't follow you because I'm not learning anything. Like, I really want to follow you. It's addicting. It's a dopamine. Yeah. So nothing wrong with it. Or I'd unfollow people, and then I replace everything that I look at all the time with either biblical stuff or entrepreneurship. And it changed our life. Like, even just the information I learned from YouTube. Like, you don't need to go to college for any of this stuff. It's made us so much money. It's made us happier and all the things. Okay. So the other thing is failing. So the biggest thing, with people that have massive success really fast is they are not, everyone's afraid of failing. Everybody has imposter syndrome. Every other day I think I suck. Doug does as well. Like, it's just who's going to face it and not quit. Imagine there's 11 doors or 10 or whatever.
It's a lot of doors.
Yeah, it's a lot of doors, but there's really 6,000 doors because you're always failing. Seriously. But you open the first one and you close it quick, but you got to open the second one right away. Like, you can't be like, oh no, the first one, and then it takes 6 months to do anything. Like, the people that have really fast success and they just, move at a really
rapid pace.
Yes. They open, close, open, close, open, close. This is what we do. And so a lot of people think, man, I don't know how you guys do it. I get that all the time. I don't know how you guys do it. It's like, well, we make it up as we go, and it's open, close, open, close. And then finally you open one, you're like, oh my God, I found it.
You're like, well, I like it. And then you jump in for a while.
You have to really, and I say this to my students, you have to make data-based decisions when it comes to your business and not emotional-based, which is a joke because everything we do is emotional. We're humans, especially me. Doug thinks I'm a psycho sometimes because it's like, oh, I feel so many emotions. I don't know if it's because I'm a female, whatever. Yeah. But I think probably.
Canceled. Just kidding.
No. Yes, canceled. But yeah, it's hard, okay? It's really hard sometimes to think rationally because people are looking at you online. And so if everyone says, you suck, Hayley, that was a worse decision, you're just like, I do suck, and that was a dumb, and maybe it was. Maybe your decision wasn't good. Maybe you launched something and it failed, but it's like, well, you just close the door and open the next one. Yeah, you really gotta keep going. It's gotta be rapid succession. Failure.
Yes. And what helps with this is if you go back to the first point, if you're desperate enough, you're going to start opening, closing those doors like a savage.
Like one of our students, I won't say the name, okay, but they took and so we teach different things in our programs. We teach how to do like passive, well, it's not passive because you have to post on social media, but like semi-passive income strategies where you do an online course and you launch it and there's a webinar and then you just get sales 24/7, right? That's like the dream life.
Yep.
Then other people, we teach high ticket sales. Doug's like an expert on that. So they do Zoom calls for sales. And that's when you charge thousands of dollars. So we do a hybrid for our programs of that. So one of our students, they took how many sales calls? Like 11.
Yeah.
And they didn't land any of them. And they were like about to quit.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They were about to quit. And we were like, dude, just keep doing. They're like, what if I just sell something for like $1,000? And we're like, you have the expertise. It just depends. And we tell you like what path to go that's right for you. Depending on your income goals and like how good you are, what you do. This person was exceptional. We were like, just keep doing it. Like, please, like trust the process.
Do not lower your price. Do not make the changes. They end up making sales.
I mean, sales is an undertainment, like 20 grand the next week.
Yeah.
If they had just didn't open the next door, they would not have changed their life.
It was like one door.
Yeah.
They were one door away.
One doorway. Yeah. So yeah, you have to have.
That's the mentality you got to have.
One door away. That's a really good thing. But yeah, no one will understand what it means. But yeah,
Russell
so
Brunson
failure.
would be like, one funnel away. We're just like.
But like failure's a path towards success. Like every single time. So like, for instance, we mentioned, and think in this podcast episode that our launch is coming. Yes. We are testing and tweaking things all the time. With bonuses and scarcity
always
tactics
testing,
and all the things
tweaking.
we teach. But it's like, sometimes we'll launch it. Like people didn't want that offer. And you're like, crap, whatever. We'll just try again next time. It's like, whatever. So that also comes with having like an abundant mentality. And you explain about that.
I mean, well, when it comes to business, like you have to just basically understand that it's out there for you to be able to go get. You just have to keep going and to go get it. You have to keep trying. You have to keep, like you said, opening the next door and keep trying to do the next thing.
All right. The other
because
thing,
it's there.
Yeah. The other thing that Doug wrote down is your spouse is on board. So this isn't always, because like for us, when I started my YouTube channel, like it's not as crazy as being like, let's start this business, Doug, and let's put in a lot of money.
It's not like your time is now. It's not. Like, it's not. Yeah.
So you were on board, but you didn't really believe like anything would come of it, like anytime, like honestly, because like nobody was really doing it.
Flashback to the vlogs of like me in the kitchen,
pissed
just, like,
off,
so
like,
mad.
Don't get the camera off. Anyway,
so mad, like the whole time.
People like mentioned me the other day. Yeah. But anyways, when it came to like starting our actual first business, I guess second, Amazon FBA, where it was like 15 grand. We didn't have a lot of money, living off of nearly one income. Doug was like, I don't know about that. But you did it because you were amazing, obviously.
Well, I did it because like I believed and I was on board and we were heading in the same direction. We had the same goals. Like,
can you talk about spouses not being on board?
Yeah. So this is the thing. It's not like the spouse has to do the work with you.
No.
Okay. The spouse doesn't have to be on Instagram and like freaking dancing and stuff. You know, like I don't know any dudes that are going to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when it comes to the spouse being on board, it's really about support and it's about having the same values. It's about desiring the same
income
and then understanding what it's going to take to get there.
Yeah.
Okay, those are the biggest things. So this was my first hint of it, okay, because I used to do a lot of sales calls. I've taken literally hundreds of sales calls, okay, and closed lots of money in sales calls. And I've seen a lot of students come in and I've seen a lot of students fail and I've seen a lot of students have success. Okay,
But let me just clarify, because people are always like, well, what's your success rate? It's like anybody that does it succeeds. So I don't want anyone to think like, well, there's a chance I could fail. Absolutely not.
Failure is when you stop.
You quit.
You quit. You don't open the next door.
I can't stop someone from quitting.
Yes.
Like just shutting off the accounts. Like
or like not responding to our help, not responding to our stuff.
If they don't do it, then like, I mean, is that a failure? Absolutely not. That's not a failure. That is just you quit. There's an absolute difference.
Total difference.
So go ahead.
Okay. But the thing that one of the like biggest signs of success that we've seen, and we'll stay away from the word failure, but one of the biggest signs I've seen of success is when I'm on a call talking to people or talking to the person who wants to enroll and their spouse is there, because their spouse is on board with the change. They're taking it seriously. And even if they're not there, but they're like, hey, my spouse is on board. They've already given me the okay to do everything as long as it's a good fit, because they want me to succeed, because they want this change too. Like when both people are heading in the same direction, the chances of success just skyrocket, like immensely.
But what about when it's just one lady?
Man, I have had calls.
Dude.
I've talked to people where they're like,
I listen in sometimes.
They're like, I told my husband I'm going to the store and I'm on this,
and we're just
he doesn't know that I want to buy this, and I'm like, you need to talk to your husband.
This has happened a lot of times.
Because this is not going to come out well.
Yeah, we've had a student that has hid on a call like with us, and what are we gonna do? We're not gonna be like, you got to figure that out. Like get him in here. Like or really like blatantly unsupportive spouses. I mean, you got to figure that out. Like, you know, it's gonna be hard. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's not impossible. Anything is possible.
It's just the thing that happens is like when you don't have a spouse that's on board, then like the time that you need to be able to work on that, well, where does that come from?
Yeah.
Okay, then they need to watch the kids.
So we have a whole podcast episode on this. I'm not good at referring podcasts, but I will link the exact one. Like, what do you do if your spouse is on board? I think that's the title of it. There's a whole strategy, which we made up, obviously, but we sort of went through all of these things because Doug was the 8 to 5 mentality. Yep. So I'll link it down below, but that one's a big one. The other thing is, the last thing we're going to end on is delayed gratification. So, you know, we all know we're conditioned, especially Americans, but most people that live cushy lifestyles by school, which is just, you know, like just a fact. Like people could argue this, but it's like, come on, that, you know, you get instant gratification, you know, Absolutely. Because if you get like a gold star, literally you get gold stars your whole entire like 10 years plus of, you know, taking tests and getting grades and getting things right away, and getting a job and getting a little raise, and you get like little bits of things. And it's not like it's sometimes it is incredibly hard work. Like if you're a doctor, or most careers are hard.
Yeah, but it's like, but in the grand scheme of things, like it is
there's a path that's guaranteed.
Dopamine hit. Yeah. Every step of the way. Yeah. It's like little bits of it every step of the way.
Especially
and it
with
happens,
social media.
Yes, it happens, but it happens everywhere in life.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, I'm not going to buy on anything on Amazon that's not Prime because I need it here in a couple days.
Sick, Doug.
You know, I know, right? I'll pay an extra $7.
Instacart, dude.
Yeah, I'll pay an extra $7 if I get something that day.
Yeah.
Because of the instant gratification.
You're crazy.
I know, I'm wild.
But yeah, I'll never step foot in a grocery store again. So I'm like, I can deliver it. Like,
when that happens and that mentality is built, instant gratification is built into it. You think, or not you obviously listening, but people think that because they've put out a couple of posts on social media, or they think that because of this has happened, they should have hundreds of followers and people knocking on their door.
Yeah, and if they don't, they're not cut out for it. What does that even mean? Not cut out? You just quit. Like, it's not failure. You just quit, you know?
And so you have to understand what delayed gratification means and what it does. And it means that you're going to put in work and you will not see results right away. And you have to have the understanding that blind faith that the results will come at a later to be determined date.
My whole thing and my philosophy is like, there is absolutely no failure. There's only quitting, like I've been saying, but also you just have to keep going, because you're not going to not get anywhere if you keep trying every single day. Like even if you have 20, 30 minutes a day chipping away, like most of our students, for some weird reason, we've got a lot of homeschoolers. I don't know, I tracked them even before I was doing homeschooling. So we have people, and when you're a homeschool mom, it's like, holy moly, that's a new level of cray. Okay. Like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, but yeah, it's like, it's a dedicated type of thing. So you have usually a lot of people that we work with that have success. They do a lot of things, which is so interesting. You think that the people that have the most success like have no kids and like a lot of time. Absolutely not. The people that have no kids and a lot of time, they never want to do it. Like they never want to put the work in.
It's crazy.
But people that want it bad though, you know, so people our most successful students,
comes back to desperation.
They have the most amount of kids. So interesting. Like remember we like looking at success paths and patterns. They either homeschool or they're like stay-at-home moms or dads, like whatever, you know? And so they have a lot going on. And what was I even saying? Delayed gratification. They're okay with it because they need it bad. So yeah, like you have to just have that blind faith. Because you, like I said in the beginning, like you are disgusted with your situation. So
and if you don't, like, then you won't take the steps necessary to do it. Like you'll try it once and you don't get the gratification and you don't think it'll work.
You have to have hard like work ethic, even if it's hard. Like what does that mean? Like an hour a day. Like that is a big sacrifice to a lot of people though.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We're making it sound like you have to have delayed gratification, or otherwise like
no,
like it's like you. I mean, 30 days. You have to be able to have delayed gratification. It's not hard to have it. It is a different mental change that you need to make. Okay. Anyone can do it. Absolutely, anyone can do it. I'm not saying that you can't do it and you won't be successful if you don't have it now. But if you come into this and you understand that, hey, this will take, oh my God, like 6 months out of my whole life in order to be financially free and successful for my whole life. Then it'll work. You know, but that's what you have to do.
But yeah, so I think that's like pretty much, I mean, there's a million other traits that people have that are successful.
My favorite one for sure though, desperation. 100%.
We already know, if we could see it in their eyes, they're like, I will do this.
Then they're gonna get it. But all those for sure.
Anyway, so that's pretty much it for today's episode. Definitely keep an eye on your email. You can get the waitlist down below if you're interested in creating your own online course and growing on social media, because obviously I help with that, Doug as well. Like, you know, I know how to grow on multiple platforms, so it's not an issue. Like that's not as hard as you think. And you don't need as big of an audience as you think. So we'll link that down below so you guys can be the first to be notified. We're also going to come back next week with our update on Boise. and Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and traveling and all that stuff.
So yeah.
Yeah, and don't forget, leave a review if you guys are looking for that special, I forgot, undisclosed amount that Hayley has here.
$30, okay? Some $3,000. $30, like some type of PayPal. I don't know, Visa.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
But yeah, thank you guys for listening. We are so grateful for your support and everything. So yeah, bye guys.